Sun Wukong realized he couldn't stay, so he said goodbye to Patriarch Bodhi, and his senior fellow apprentice recited a mantra and flew away on his somersault cloud. A few hours later, Sun Wukong returned to the Cave of Water Curtains on Flowers and Fruits Mountain. To his surprise, he saw a desolate and ruined scene on the mountain, which was very pitiful. Sun Wukong did not know what had happened, and he asked a monkey to find out. He learned that after he left, a villain monster occupied the Cave of Water Curtains, and taken many young monkeys. Upon hearing this, Sun Wukong was bristled with anger. He decided to take revenge on the villain monster and asked for his whereabouts. He rode on the somersault cloud and flew north. In a short while, Sun Wukong arrived at the entrance of the cave of the villain monster. He shouted to the little demon in front of the door.
"Your king bullied my descendants. I came today to compete with him."
The little demon heard and quickly ran into the cave to report to the Monster King. The villain monster quickly put on his armor and picked up his broadsword, walking out of the cave with a group of demons following him. Sun Wukong was empty-handed, but he just took only a few rounds to seize the villain monster's broadsword, and then split the monster in two with a single blade dot. After killed the villain monster, Sun Wukong pulled out a hair, bit it into pieces and spat it out. The hair was transformed into many small monkeys, who looked exactly like Sun Wukong. The monkeys rushed into the cave, drove away other demons, and rescued the captive young monkeys. After that, Sun Wukong brought weapons from the weapon arsenal in the country of Aolai, and gave them to the monkeys, teaching them martial arts. From then on, the reputation of Cave of Water Curtains became even greater. All the leaders of the demons and the masters of the 7 caves came to visit Sun Wukong. However, Sun Wukong had one thing that was bothering him. He didn't have a weapon that was suitable for him. An old monkey told Sun Wukong that the water under the bridge of Cave of Water Curtains could go directly to the Dragon Palace in the East Sea, where there may be countless weapons, and he can get a weapon that was right for him from the Dragon King. Sun Wukong immediately arrived at the Dragon Palace in the East Sea, and explained his purpose to the Dragon King Ao Goang. The Dragon King knew that Sun Wukong was not easy to mess with, and he could not refuse, so he ordered the shrimp soldiers to bring out a 9-headed fork weighing 4,000 pounds. Sun Wukong took it and played with it for a while, but he thought it was too light. The Dragon King helplessly ordered the craft generals to bring out a square sky painting halberd weighing 8,000 pounds. Sun Wukong tried it out, but still thought it was too light. The Dragon King said,
"There is no heavier weapon than this."
Sun Wukong didn't believe it, and got into an argument with the Dragon King. In order to get rid of Sun Wukong, the Dragon Queen told the Dragon King,
"We have the God Iron of the Sea, let's give it to him. Whether he can use it or not, let's send him away."
After listening, the Dragon King told Sun Wukong,
"This treasure is too heavy. You have to go get it yourself."
Sun Wukong and the Dragon King went to the seabed, and the Dragon King pointed with his hand and said,
"The one that shines is
it." Sun Wukong immediately went over and touched it with his hand, only to find that it was a thick iron rod as thick as a basket. Sun Wukong tried to lift it with his hand and said,
"It's too long, and too long. If it were a little shorter and thinner, it would be better."
Sun Wukong hadn't finished speaking yet. The treasure became a few feet shorter and thinner. Sun Wukong looked at it and said,
"It would be even better if it were even thinner."
The treasure really became much thinner. Sun Wukong took it and saw that it was written on it, "Bull following golden banded staff, weighing 15,000 pounds. He played with it for a while and found it very smoothly. Sun Wukong decided to take it. When he returned to the Crystal Palace, Sun Wukong wanted the Dragon King to give him a suit of clothes to match. The Dragon King didn't have one, but he was afraid that Sun Wukong would cause trouble, so he rang the golden bell, and called the Dragon Kings of the South, North, and West Seas, Aokin, Aoshan, and Aorun. The three brothers collected a golden armor, a purple golden crown with phoenix wings, and a pair of cloud shoes made of lotus silk, and gave them to Sun Wukong. Upon returning to the Flowers and Fruits Mountain, Sun Wukong realized that the golden banded staff could change into the size of a needle, and he hid it in his ear. One day, he invited all the demon kings to a meal and got drunk. He slept under a pine tree near the bridge and saw two people who holding an inscription with the words Sun Wukong, and tying him up with a rope, pulling him along. Sun Wukong was dazed and followed them to a city gate, where he saw a sign on the tower that read Underworld, and realized that this was where King of Hell lived. He turned around and was about to leave. The two ghostly spirits held onto him tightly, and insisted that he go inside. Sun Wukong was furious and pulled out his golden banded staff from his ear, beating the two spirits into a meat paste. He shook off the ropes around him, wielding his golden banded staff and hitting his way into the city until he reached the front of the Hall of Darkness. Sun Wukong snatched the Book of Life and Death. With a pen in hand, he crossed out the names of all the monkeys and saying,
That's great, that's really great. From now on, my fellow monkeys will no longer be under your control.
He then fought his way out of the underworld.